Leg 3 is presented by Renta Satphone, a 436-kilometre loop around Gascoyne Junction. 6:30 a.m. and another hard day in the saddle with 430 kilometres of rocks, sand and hidden gullies for everybody. Time to check in at the time control. In the quads, Heath Young and John Maragazidis discuss the gap between them.
I think it's about 5 or 6 minutes now.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Depends how long it takes us to repair.
Exactly.
That's what it's boiling down to.
I didn't think I was that long on the side of the road yesterday, but obviously I was.
Oh, we're not fighting, we're just riding.
You know, when you're out there, you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
When you stop and somebody's stopped, you make sure they're okay and they can do their job.
Yeah.
If they can fix it without your help, you keep going. But if they need a hand, well, you have to give them a hand.
That's how it is.
In the bikes, Rod Faggoter leads out. And after 2 hard days, the timesheets show that Todd Smith is just 27 seconds behind the Yamaha rider, with everything to gain. Matt Fish on the KTM knows this terrain and is charging in 3rd position, while Faggoter's Yamaha teammate Shane Diener is in 4th place overall and leads the Dakar Challenge. Bike 7 is Troy O'Connor and is the first to discover Warren Strange, who was riding 1 minute ahead of him, has had an accident.
I know Warren, he's a good bloke, he's camped with us as well, so it wasn't a good thing to come up on him just lying there.
Neither rider is aware yet, but Warren has broken ribs. Troy immediately steps into action.
You right, buddy?
First thing was to stop Jake. I knew Jake started 1 minute behind me, and I sort of went to Warren first, and I said, I'll just wait there, I'll run back and stop Jake.
Leave your bike!
Jake turned his bike around and put on the corner and went back to Warren to make sure he's still all right.
Warren's brother Vernon had arrived on the scene, while Jake Smith continued to liaise with rally headquarters and the medical helicopter team.
He told me that his front wheel washed out and there was a bit of a square edge, which is like was through a little creek. It's just like a little lip, and he just lost it. He said it wasn't a big crash, but when you fall off, it is.
The paramedics quickly assess and attend to Warren and ensure that just minutes after his accident, he is rushed to hospital. It is a credit to the riders and organisers that his injuries are treated so quickly. Warren has subsequently made a full recovery. Alistair McRae is a former WRC works driver and Asia-Pacific rally champion, more usually seen in a rally car than a bike. How has Alistair adapted to his KTM and the differences required for safari?
3 days in a WRC event and you're sitting in a car. Okay, the car, it's a lot warmer inside the car, but out here in the bike, it's the temperature's not so high, but the actual physical demand on you is fairly high. High speed in a rally car, you've got your seat belt, you've got your roll cage, you're strapped in, everything feels pretty safe. On the bike, you just hit a rut in the bike, you know, so it starts moving about when you're in 5th and 6th gear. You're coming up in stuff that you're not sure what it is. You think about it a bit more than what you would in a car, and gets the heart rate going up. Today we're short stages and they were 130 and 155 kilometres, so that's pretty much a full Asian Pacific Championship rally that I was doing last year. And you've done that starting at 8 in the morning, you're finished by 1, so you know the speeds are very high. The stages are a lot longer, and you've got, you know, you're concentrating for a long time, and obviously you've not pace notes, you're not pace notes, you're trying to read the road as well as read the road book, and you don't want to get too cocky basically, because you can hurt yourself here. Any of the riders you speak to, they're all too willing to help. I think it's a lot of other sports get a bit too serious. This is It's friendly, the guys will come and help you, they stop if you're parked at the side of the road. Working in the bike, they actually stop to see if you're okay, you're everything alright, anything they can do. It's been really good.
You're going so well in it, would you consider doing a bit more of it?
Tell you on Friday night, not before.
Back at the head of the race, Rod Faggoter is keeping a good pace and a clear head, helping him stay out of trouble. For Todd Smith, it was a different story.
I had a great first stage, got through there really clean and pulled some time in on Rod, and I was pretty happy with myself there. And then the second stage was going great till about kilometre 130. Hit something on the road that I didn't see and had a big stack and wiped all my navigation gear out and popped the fuel cap off one of the tanks and nearly ran out of fuel getting to the fuel service. So I'm a little bit disappointed with that. Dropped about 9 minutes.
Matt Fish also suffers a small off, with both riders now facing the same dilemma.
We had a small off in the second stage and bent a few things and broke the map reader, so a bit of improvisation to get out of the stage. And there's a couple of times that we pulled up and worked out which way the course went without having all our equipment, so it was good to keep it to a minimum.
I had to put my head down this afternoon, the bike was pretty twisted up and it's hard to find my way without the map. I overshot a few turns and wasted a few more minutes here and there too, but yeah, it's probably not a bad result for the crash I had, but still disappointed.
Navigation notes can be easy to mistake for some, and it appeared as though competitors were searching from north, south, east and west.
There's a hard-to-see track at 1:55.36. What are you at? You're not there now, no?
But eventually, the three musketeers find their way. In the quads, John Maragazidis managed to stay on top in the conditions.
It was genuinely a tough day. It was relentless. There was almost no time to rest. There was just constant rocks and ruts and holes and there was booby traps everywhere. So had to really be on the game so you wouldn't take yourself out. And I had a couple of close moments, which I don't normally have, but yeah, just doing my thing, and there was a bird that decided to go kamikaze. I mean, it was aiming straight for my head, and it was like, just had to duck and weave around him as well as everything else. I have to duck and weave around, but yeah, he was all right. I don't think anyone got hurt in the process, so we were all good.
And in the autos, competition continues to heat up as the mammoth 288-kilometre second stage took its toll.
First stage was really rough, got a puncture in that, heaps of rocks, so we increased the pressure. Then I went faster in the rocks, so that was pretty stupid. That big second stage, 300k, that really knocks you around to get through there unscathed. Then we got a puncture and a little buggy got past us, and he got a puncture and we got past him, so we had a bit of fun today.
We had one this morning, and Jeff had one as well, so that our times were quite close on the first stage. The second stage, they're just so brutal. It wouldn't matter what tyres you're on, as sort of Jeff found out as well.
And Jeff Olam extends his lead to 17 minutes, with Rob Herridge in third.
It's gone well. I've had a clean run, which sort of most of the other guys haven't today, so I'm not complaining. Couldn't have done any more. Sort of rode as hard as I could, but as smooth as I could. No crashes, stayed on the map, everything worked well.
And despite the issues for Matt Fish and Todd Smith, the gap to the lead is just over 8 minutes. The quads are still tight, with just 3 minutes between Maragazidis and Young. Michael Hooken dominates the side-by-sides. The Toyo Tyres Leg 4 begins with a trip up the Khyber Pass and through the Kennedy Ranges, the track fluctuating from smooth and fast to rutted and rocky outcrops, typical of the stunning scenery here in Western Australia. With Todd Smith's problems yesterday, Rod Faggoter now has a 12-minute lead, but his riding style is as urgent as ever. Todd Smith has his head down and is riding hard. Fish is just 30 minutes behind Faggoter, but also needs to make up time. With Safari at its halfway stage, it's now or never to make up time or make your move, and everyone is pushing. David McShane is 16 minutes behind Jeff Olin and has to drive hard to make up time on the Cairns Coconuts.
First stage went pretty much exactly to plan. We caught Jeff 35 k's in, which was earlier than I'd anticipated, but I think he'd backed off more than he'd realised. And it took us quite some time to get past him, so we dropped a bit of time there, but we got 4.5 minutes in that first stage, and things seemed to be on track.
Took 3 spares today because we had a lot of rocks in the first stage, and took it steady. Dave McShane caught me in the rocks, so I let him past. Then we just followed his dust, get near the end, then we got lost for 2k. So that put us back. Next stage we tried a bit harder.
We're pushing hard again, and we knew that the nature of that stage being as fast as what it was, that we wouldn't be able to pull as much time on Jeff, but you know, I think we were up by a couple of minutes when we had problems, and initially we just lost fuel pressure. My first thoughts were that we'd run out of fuel, but on the fuel calculations we'd done, you know, it just didn't seem possible. But that stage was extremely fast. We were in top gear a lot of the time. You know, it seemed feasible at the time that we'd run out of fuel.
I think he ran out of fuel, they had a mechanical issue. We caught up to him, he was taken off, and we followed him for about 3 or 4k and just went past him when he pulled over. We heard he got towed in.
Rob Herridge notices McShane's drama, and despite his own race for third, kindly offers a tow.
We got no fuel.
Yeah, can I get some out of you?
We got none. We can tow you if you want.
Yeah, whatever. We probably got off lightly, really. I think, yeah, at the time we thought that was our event over, but I mean, it's going to be extremely difficult from here.
McShane has lost crucial time, but has managed to resolve his fuel pump issues.
Had a great start to the section, the first 30 k's. I was feeling really good on the bike, probably the best I had all week, and everything was working perfect. I sort of thought that I was getting everything together today and had good speed, and I was just catching on to Rod's dust, and just the bike started losing power and blowing smoke, and eventually ran out of compression, I guess, and just turned her off, and then that was it. Jacob came along and we had a bit of a talk about what we should do, talked about towing it, and thought we were probably going to make it on time anyway. Towing it, not the safest thing to do, so we'll swap motors. So we got everything off we could, and didn't have enough tools to get the swing arm pivot bolt out, and then we ran out of time. It just, I don't know, it takes the wind out of your sails a bit because you put so much effort in and a lot of sacrifice to be able to go that fast and do the job, and it's all over in a heartbeat.
So more mechanical issues for the Smith boys means that neither can now challenge for the win. Matt Fish moves up to second, while Shane Diener takes third and leads the Dakar Challenge. Alistair McRae is fourth, and John Maragazidis extends his lead slightly in the quads. But who can beat Michael Hooken on the side-by-sides? 2 riders making a stir at Safari this year are Sam and Max Hutchison, the only entrants running a motorbike and sidecar.
It was the next challenge for us, basically. We raced back home in off-road events, but we've never done something on this scale, so it was the next challenge to step up and have a go, basically. It's been very positive, a good reaction. It's turned a few heads for sure. Over here there hasn't been many people that know what sidecars are all about or even seen them before, so it's been a very positive reaction. We've always ridden this format. I've always been passenger for Max, and it's how it's worked the best since we were young kids. My role is very physical, very demanding. I'm on my feet most of the day. You're moving from as far as you can left off the bike to as far as you can right off the bike as you're turning through the tracks and rocks, and busy, concentrating, and also communicating with Max to see what's coming up next. It's very demanding, it can get very rough on certain stages, but it's pure buzz. The adrenaline's unbelievable. When you're hiking along at 100 plus, it's a great feeling. there would have been some people that doubted what we would get through, but it's been good to prove that these machines can go off-road and they can handle this event, and the pastures of the terrain. We've had a pretty trouble-free run. We've kept it on its wheels the whole time, which has been good. The sand is a struggle. That is a downfall in this event. The bike really does try and bury itself. You just got to keep plugging away. It's steady, but once we get through the sand and into the hard pack and get moving, it's a fantastic event. It's a good challenge and it's very rewarding to finish each day.